NBC5 investigates. Sex trafficking is a growing concern in this country, and local and federal law enforcement consider Chicago a hub for activity. And experts say what drives that activity is demand.
So who is buying sex? NBC5 investigates. Miriam Brooks went along on a John sweep with the Cook County Sheriff to find out.
If John's looking for it, he'll spot them.
Mid-morning on a Thursday, in the rain, Cook County Sheriff's Police make their first arrest.
It's a go. It's a go.
An 83-year-old former science teacher.
Oh, I'm not going to fire.
Minutes later, a 31-year-old bakery truck driver.
I don't want to touch me.
He was busted in his delivery truck. The bakery owners couldn't believe he'd do this at work. They may fire him, and they told us he's married with children. And then there is the 21-year-old college student.
I have a girlfriend. I don't need to do this.
But one study on men who buy sex suggests that this young man is typical. It shows that 62% of Johns have a regular sex partner like a wife or a girlfriend. The study by the Chicago Alliance Against Sexual Exploitation also found 79%, like this young man, had attended college, graduated, or had a graduate degree. The 21-year-old said he was only joking when he approached the undercover female cop acting as a decoy.
I'm not soliciting anyone, so I don't know what.
You just did.
It was as a joke, but.
The women who are going through this, who are doing this, are oftentimes victims.
I would just get the help they need. You could see where it would hurt their self-esteem.
It goes a bit beyond self-esteem. That's often broken long before these women get on the street. Most have experienced abuse. Sheriff Tom Dart.
So usually sexual abuse started within the home decades ago. Drug abuse as well. All those things sort of packaged together has led them to where this is the way they're making ends meet.
And this is a dangerous way to live. We found out how dangerous when we learned about our next John.
Dark colored minivan on the hill.
I was walking past him, and that's when he said, "Get in the car."
This 36-year-old man approached an undercover officer we'll call Sue.
Usually these guys are somewhat nervous. He was out of the norm.
He turned out to be a convicted murderer who in 2004 pleaded guilty to the 1998 murder of a prostitute named Lucretia Avery. He and two others beat her, raped her, wrapped her in a sheet, and then threw her out of a window. He served 10 years of a 20-year sentence. Sue wasn't surprised and was glad it was her he tried to stop.
I'm being watched because I'm undercover, but if I was actually just a working girl on my own, I wouldn't have any protection. No one's going to come after me.
In Illinois, it is a misdemeanor to solicit prostitution, but Sheriff Dart says that charge wasn't changing behavior.
It was just sort of getting really just lost in the shuffle and being treated in a way that was dismissive at best.
He helped usher in a county ordinance in 2009 that allows a fine of up to $1,000. And it seems to have worked.
Since we started doing this about 4 years ago, we haven't had a repeat offender.
And ultimately, keeping the Johns away, fighting the demand, is a big part of the goal.
No customers, there's no need for prostitution.
The Cook County Sheriff has collected more than $200,000 in fines since his officers began citing Johns instead of charging the misdemeanor. And 60% of that money has gone to a sheriff's fund to help prostitutes get off the street. Miriam Brooks, NBC5 investigates. You may not realize it, but every 24 hours, thousands of women and girls are trafficked or prostituted in the Chicago area. The numbers are staggering, but getting out of that life is very difficult. Experts say the trauma is intense and there are very few services available to help. We found one of them run by the Salvation Army.
One top, one bottom, one purse.
They look and act like your average teenagers, shopping.
These have a good color.
But it took work for these girls to get to this kind of normal. They are each victims of sex trafficking.
After I got raped, then I started to learn about prostitution.
Jackie, we'll call her, was 13 when she got raped.
I was staying with mostly men who would not let me go to sleep when I wanted to and make me have sex with them.
At 18, the girl we'll call Tina, a runaway, was also raped, and then moved from house to house, being prostituted by gang members for survival.
And they're like, we kind of don't have a choice because if you want to stay in our hood, you owe us taxes, you got to pay us.
Jackie, now just 16, was used by two different pimps, managing to escape the last one.
I have to wait till he get deep in sleep because you just moving and he wake up. And he had guns, so of course I'm going to be scared.
She's still fearful he'll come after her.
He's capable of anything. Police don't scare him, don't not scare him.
Jackie and Tina are safe right now. They're in a long-term residential facility in a home hidden in plain sight in a Chicago area suburb. It's run by the Salvation Army exclusively for sex trafficking victims. It's called Ann's house. Now, it looks pretty homey here. Is that part of the way you have it set up, intended to be
comfortable? Make it a comfortable environment to make them feel at home.
Despite the fact that 16,000 to 25,000 women and girls are trafficked in Chicago every day, Ann's house is one of only 2 places in the state offering sex trafficking victims long-term residential care. According to this national survey, there are only 12 beds in the entire state. Ann's house has 8 of them. And experts say sex trafficking victims need specialized care.
The things that you have to deal with, flashbacks and nightmares and defiance.
People in prostitution have rates of post-traumatic stress disorder that are almost as high as people in combat war.
Here they receive intensive counseling. They learn life skills.
We may have girls who don't know how to use household utensils because they've never done it before.
They go to school and get constant support. There are rules and structure.
And they come into a place that is safe, very structured, where what's expected of them is really clear.
Ann Bent, the Ann in Ann's house, donated $1.2 million to fund the program in 2009.
What they get in the home is a true home.
She sees it working. Right now, Jackie is a sophomore in high school who loves art.
Do you see yourself going to college?
Yes, I'm going to college for sure, there's no doubt.
Without Ann's house?
I would probably be in jail right now. I'm not even gonna lie.
I could have ended up dead.
But this year, Tina graduated high school and is focusing on college.
It's like God spoke to me and said that my life was going to change for the better, and this place represents that. I'm very lucky for Ann's house.
More services for sex trafficking victims may soon be on the way. The Chicago Alliance Against Sexual Exploitation has pushed legislation to fine pimps, johns, and traffickers and use that money to help fund services like those at Ann's house. The measure passed last week and now awaits the governor's signature.
Now to our ongoing series about sex trafficking in Chicago. Tonight, NBC5 investigates a boots-on-the-ground rescue effort.
The Dreamcatcher Foundation hits the streets on a regular basis to bring support and hope to young women working in the sex trade. Their mission is to get them off the street into a better life. Here's NBC5's Marion Brooks.
Hey, Pumpkin, you need some condoms? Hey, sweetie, you need some condoms?
That's typically Brenda Meyer's pal's opening line, offered with love. She's hoping for trust.
This is the first time I've actually saw you, and I'm usually out here. All the girls know me. I used to work right over here.
Brenda and her partner Stephanie Daniels are on a rescue mission. Brenda spent 25 years as a prostitute, Stephanie 20 years as a drug addict, who at times prostituted to buy drugs. Backgrounds that they say give them credibility to reach these women on the street.
We're not here to judge them. No. We're not here to make them change their behavior. We're here to offer them hope and encouragement, and even if they want to stop.
This is where I met Marie. I met her right here in the corner.
30-year-old Marie Miller is a former prostitute Brenda successfully rescued in October.
I came along with the Dreamcatchers with Brenda. They gave me hope.
And on this night, she is riding with Brenda.
I know them. That's Diamond, Butterfly.
Over 2 ride-alongs with Dreamcatchers, we got a first-hand look at the need wrapped in the story of a girl we'll call Rose. In May,
my situation right now is kind of messed up, but it's gonna get better.
Guess what? You was by yourself, but you not no more. Give me a hug. I'll be seeing you soon, okay?
And she did, 3 months later, and things were not better.
How's things going? I'm kind of out here on the streets, not nowhere to go. I'm just bad. I'm out here bad. Getting high, all type of stuff.
Rose eventually told us that she'd done crack for hours that night, and she was homeless. Both Brenda and Marie sense she's in trouble.
I can see it in your face. All right? Yeah. It's gonna get better, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
But what I need for you to do is make a decision if you want to go with me, because that's all I do.
Yeah. You want to go now?
Ready to go? Are you ready to go to treatment?
Yeah, I'm scared.
Rose goes along, and we learned she'd been on the street off and on since she was 16. She's now just 22. Brenda first tries to find Rose a bed at a detox center, but none is available. There is nowhere to take her. This dilemma points to a need highlighted in a 2013 national survey of programs for victims of sex trafficking. Despite the estimated thousands of women prostituted or trafficked on any given day in Chicago, there are only 12 beds in the entire state of Illinois, and only 4 beds for victims over 21.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and a girl says, I'm ready, and she's in a bad situation, and there's no beds.
I just feel like I'm just hearing stuff, seeing stuff. I don't know if it's real, if I'm just seeing stuff.
Because she's hallucinating, Brenda brings Rose to the psychiatric ward at Mount Sinai. She voluntarily admits herself. In the 7 years since they began their mission, the Dreamcatchers have rescued 74 women from these streets, and they've come in contact with, either passed out condoms or cards, to more than 2,000. But they hope to do more. They're raising money now to open a residential center so they don't have to search for a place for a woman who wants help. They will be that place.
And we're going to do it at Dreamcatcher. We're going to get these beds. But it takes a village to help these girls, so we need a village to help us.
Marion Brooks, NBC5 investigates.
Due to privacy laws, Mount Sinai can't comment on Rose's condition, or even if she's still in treatment now. Brenda Myers-Powell says Dreamcatchers is only a phone call away if Rose ever needs help again. For more on the Dreamcatcher Foundation, go to NBCChicago.com and search Dreamcatchers, making a real difference. Tonight, NBC5 investigates Division 17. It's part of an innovative program at the Cook County Jail.
The program helps women deal with the trauma of the sex trade and trying to stay off the street. NBC5's Marion Brooks gives us an exclusive look inside and a warning. Some of the language is graphic.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
This is a special meeting inside the Cook County Jail.
Welcome to Prostitution Anonymous, where we learn how not to sell ourselves, right?
Right.
These women may not be here on a prostitution charge, but they are all touched by it in some way. The danger. Kelly talks about a John with a gun.
He hit me in the mouth with the gun about 20 times and broke all my teeth off. I'm dealing with that shame right now.
The drugs, which many abuse.
Being in a room with numerous of tricks, doing anything to you. So you got to be pretty high to do those things.
And what leads to prostitution in the first place? One study of women in the Cook County Jail by the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless found 86% of trafficked and prostituted women have experienced domestic violence. 74% have been sexually assaulted. 63% were victim of some form of child abuse. In another meeting.
It was the first time I prostituted was in the 4th grade.
Wow.
It was cool, like, oh, he want to give me some money. Right. But I didn't know about prostitution.
And even with that said, she's saying it was in the 4th grade. Whose fault was that?
The Prostitutes Anonymous meetings are only part of what's called the Women's Justice Program, partially housed in Division 17 of the Cook County Jail. Here, among other programs, women can get GED prep courses, parenting classes, and access to therapy to deal with trauma that may have led them to prostitution in the first place.
You got to start peeling the layers of things that have happened. The young lady said, I started prostituting in the 4th grade. How deep is that? How many layers do we have to pull off that young lady before she becomes new again?
This is Brenda Myers-Powell. She and Lisa, who only wants to use her first name, are uniquely qualified to help. They're both former prostitutes who now work in the jail to give back.
It's important to show the women that I've been there, done that, and that what I'm doing now, they are able to do it too. Recovery is possible.
Marion Hatcher is another former prostitute who works with the program. All three also work with the Cook County Sheriff's Human Trafficking Response Team to get to the women who are still on the street.
You offer them the help, and they don't always take it then. Sometimes they take it the next week or even years later.
Last spring, this woman was arrested in a sting after posting an ad on Backpage.com.
I haven't did Backpage in a long time because I had got raped last year.
You got raped by a John? Okay.
The goal here is not to treat her like a criminal. She's viewed as a victim, and on this day, she accepted the help.
She was ready.
They call this an intervention, and according to Cook County, 76% of the women offered help in an intervention accepted. And though the numbers aren't as clear in Division 17, there's something happening here.
I'm happy. It don't even sound right to be happy to be locked up. I'm learning a lot from this place.
And that's the point. The Cook County Sheriff founded the program in 2009 to give these women the tools they need to keep them out of jail. And we want to note that the women in the Prostitutes Anonymous meeting graciously allowed us to videotape them, and they understood they'd be identified. Marion Brooks, NBC5 Investigates.
Now NBC5 investigates sex trafficking. In our ongoing series, we take you behind your computer and your smartphone to some of the most popular sources for the sex trade.
They include the internet and social media. NBC5 Investigates Marion Brooks shows you just how easy it is to use and how quickly it works.
Beeping is the alert. Minutes later, the arrest.
I'm not here to nothing. I'm not here to nothing.
Calm down, calm down.
And then the reaction.
I'm dumb, that's all.
Look, I can't have a grown man sitting here crying.
Hey, come on, don't do this.
In less than an hour, 6 men had shown up answering an ad posted on Backpage.com soliciting sex.
Within minutes, people are calling.
It turned out to be a sting. The Cook County Sheriff's Police Vice Unit set up a female officer as a decoy in a random motel room. They couldn't get one processed before others showed up.
You got caught, deal with it.
After about 90 minutes, they'd cited 11 men. 2 had been arrested for prostitution in the past.
The volume out there is immense.
$45 million worth in 2012, the last year tracked by ad monitor AIM Group. 82% of it on Backpage.com.
So now you get a sense of the demand side of paid sex and one of the top ways to get it. But what about the supply side? Who is the supplier and how do they meet that demand? More and more these days, it's through social media.
Meet Tyrell and Myrell Lockett, twins arrested at age 17 by Cook County Sheriff's Police for trafficking.
They were typical predators. They were preying on the weak.
They were out of jail in less than 2 years. And in May, the now 22-year-old Tyrell Lockett was picked up by the FBI, this time on a federal charge of human trafficking. According to the criminal complaint, a major part of his operation, social media. On Facebook, he shows lots of money, guns, and flashy jewelry. His noted job description? Hip-hop artist. And worked at pimping. And the complaint alleges he seemed to cruise the site looking for girls. In several excerpts of exchanges with individuals who were often minors, he would say things like, "I just want to say you're sexy, and I got big things set up for us," and describing escorting as easy, fast money, and "I'm willing to spoil you." The complaint says Lockett used the come-ons and photos as recruiting tools and often used friends to lure friends. Cook County Deputy Chief Mike Anton.
Well, they're promising something that a lot of younger people are trying to obtain: money, glamour, because they sell it.
It took a 20-something to decode this world for us. 22-year-old Ariel Thompson works as an intern for a foundation that helps trafficking victims. She spotted the hashtags on Instagram that outline a sort of underground world.
It's a whole different language. It's like a cyber prostitution ring.
We saw one, #Choosin', in the criminal complaint on Tyrell Lockett. Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart, whose Vice Unit first arrested Tyrell Lockett and conducted the Backpage sting, says parents need to be aware of all of it.
So parents just realize it is horribly dangerous out there. It really is. This isn't me or anybody else trying to scare you. It is real.
Backpage's attorney told us it encourages law enforcement's use of its site to battle trafficking, especially in finding victims. Facebook wouldn't comment on Tyrell Lockett's use of its site because his case is pending. But we've put a copy of his criminal complaint and a glossary of hashtag terms on our website, NBCChicago.com. Search sex trade if you'd like to take a closer look. Marion Brooks, NBC5 Investigates.
All right, thanks.